What's going on, guys? Bengal here, live on Twitch for the Giants franchise off-season stream that I always do. Big things happened for us this past season. 2024, we came out on top after a very, very rough start to our season. A lot of people just wanted us to tank, but we said no. We push through it, and we do our best to become Super Bowl champions. We made the playoffs. We won some really close games. And the Super Bowl was no different. If not for 2 kickoff return touchdowns from Greg Sheldon, we may have lost that game. As you can see, the MVP of that game was Trey Flowers. Don't know why that was the case. It was Greg Sheldon. We know it was Greg Sheldon. But they gave it to Trey Flowers because he had 1 interception. It was bizarre. Jalen Hurts won MVP. Arthur Smith, Coach of the Year for the Falcons, is interesting. Cooper Kupp, Offensive Player of the Year for the Rams. Von Miller, Defensive Player of the Year. And then we had a couple rookies, of course, winning Rookie of the Year. That's generally how it happens, unless you're Ben Simmons. And Alexander Auble of the Saints won Offensive Rookie of the Year, the QB. We faced him in his rookie year. And Trayvon Brown of the Seahawks won Defensive Rookie of the Year, the defensive tackle. I think he was on our board, and we were just unable to get him. If you guys remember the draft reset glitch, it was agony to get through the draft last offseason. Hopefully that stuff is well in the rearview mirror because it was a disaster. We'll check out the season stats. I showed this, I think, before we went into the playoffs, but quick refresher. Cody Bailey ended up going for over 5,000 passing yards, 37 touchdowns to 21 interceptions. We'd like that number to come down, but this is a big improvement over his rookie year, and even the first half of the season, he played a lot better down the stretch, and especially into the playoffs. Saquon was pretty good, got over 300 attempts, so pretty obviously going to go over 1,000 yards in that scenario. 12 touchdowns as well. And then receiving, Larry Smith took a big step. You know, we dealt with some injury early on to Nick Duval, who led the team in receiving the year prior. But Larry Smith, 94 catches for 1,200 yards, 6 TDs, only averaging 13 yards per catch for a big deep threat. It was really Odell who had most of those long catches, averaging nearly 18 yards a catch. 8 touchdowns as well. Good season for Odell. Nick Duval still ended up going over 1,000 with 14 touchdowns. Tony was a really, really good role player. Had more catches than Odell. Fewer yards, but 7 touchdowns. We really did a good job distributing the football to a lot of different receiving threats, including Saquon Barkley out of the backfield. And then defensively, the pressure just wasn't there this season. Kayvon Thibodeau led the team in sacks with 8, although Azeez Ojulari had a really good playoff run. Cobb ended up with 4 sacks, 3 interceptions, but it was Darnay Holmes who led the league in interceptions again and got upgraded to Superstar X Factor. So even though his eventual home is probably in the slot, he is a Superstar X Factor player, is 27 years old. There is something to work with there. Glenn Gore, the rookie safety out of Oregon. You guys remember at the start of the year, you know, when we were back in the draft at this time a season ago, it was, do we take Glenn Gore? Do we trade up for the Steelers? Unbelievable safety prospect that ended up having Superstar X Factor development in, what is his name? Bryson Hendricks. He had a decent season, but yeah, Superstar X Factor is pretty good. He's an 83 overall, and just a very talented player. In the end, do I think we made the right decision? I would say yes, because we didn't have to trade up, and we still got a really, really good player who is right now a higher overall, and if we upgrade him one more time, he'll be up to that 85 overall zone, and I think have new abilities that we can actually put on him as a result. New ability slot unlocked, +2 tackle, +2 pursuit, play rec, jumping, and awareness, all go up by 1, and then the ability could go pick artist, could go deep route knockout, but that's man-to-man. You don't really see, you know, our safeties play man-to-man that much. So maybe deep in zone knockout, deep out zone KO. Maybe those would be good choices for us. Maybe even a combination of both. I'm not sure, but we'll do that for the time being. And our team is very, very good right now. We are an 87 overall, offense and defense. And we're just in a really good spot. However, things could certainly change as we have players that we need to re-sign. We have some tough decisions. We do have money to potentially get it done, but I also think it would potentially limit us in free agency because we're going to have great players that will need to extend, in a season or two. So do we want to go all out and bring players in free agency right now? Or do we want to retain what we have long term? Greg Sheldon, you guys may remember, had a very, very, very good Super Bowl. 2 kickoff return touchdowns, undrafted rookie free agent. He's going to need a contract extension. He does have an interest in returning. Kadarius Toney, can't really say as much about him. Only 26 years old, superstar dev, does not want to be here. What are Toney's motivations that don't want to be in East Rutherford, New Jersey? He just wants to play in a different scheme. He wants to be in a vertical zone run. Last year of a 5th-year option. Here's what I think could happen. A franchise tag of Kadarius Toney, and then we'll figure out what to do. That could be on the table. Azeez Ojulari does not have an interest in being back either. Superstar development player. He wants a mentor. These are weighted too much. These are weighted way too much. Maurice Hurst wants to return. Deontay Foreman, Rennell Wren. I'm not really sure what the interest is. Some of these players is. Trey Flowers, Super Bowl MVP somehow. He was disappointing most of the year, though. Mark Glowinski. Don't think we're going to be bringing him back. And then, Joseph Noteboom was a really good swing tackle. This is not really an expensive contract. I think I do want Joe Noteboom back. He was very valuable. Andrew Thomas got injured. He had to play often. We traded for him, and we're going to bring him back. That is my first signing, first re-signing. Jared Wilson, Aaron Robinson here. Quincy Roche, another guy who just kept sneaking onto the field and making plays. He wants more money than I want to give him, though, by a lot. I'm not really going to stretch this out too much. Test free agency, that's totally fine to me. I'm more focused on the actual starter at the position, and that is, of course, really, off the edge. Azeez Ojulari, 25 years old. The reason I wouldn't want to franchise tag him is because edge, so outside linebacker, defensive end, the value at that franchise tag is significant. And I do not want to pay that. I'd rather pay him a lot less and actually keep him in town. So what do we want to do here? I would give him a low-risk contract. I don't mind spending, as much as $12.4 million. That's really not bad at all. And we're going to be signing him, hopefully. And Azeez Ojulari returns. That's a big first signing. I saw some people in the comments say, sign a mentor first. It's not how it works because we are not in the free agent period yet. This is the re-signing period. We cannot sign players before free agency hits. So we bring back Azeez. Extremely team-friendly contract, in my opinion. As long as we keep developing him, that's going to be more than worth it. To Greg Sheldon first. This guy was a spark plug. He wants to be here. He wants to win a Super Bowl. I mean, he helped us out. He likes that we have a franchise quarterback. Greg Sheldon wants to be a Giant. He's 24 years old. I could potentially see Greg Sheldon getting more snaps on offense. It's a very friendly deal. And Greg Sheldon, back. Long-term deal. He is our primary kick returner. He did a great job, but could potentially earn more reps as a true receiver. So we'll have to see what happens with that in 2025. 2025 now. And here's the thing. You guys probably noticed this in the videos. How stiff was Greg Sheldon in terms of movement? It felt like he was turning a truck. I looked into this. Greg Sheldon has 89 change of direction and 92 agility. That's really not bad. If we can get change of direction to a 90, maybe that would start playing a little bit differently. But he's got electric speed. Catching is not terrible. Catching traffic's pretty good. Spectacular catching is not bad. I think clearly, he's not a great route runner to this point. But we got something here. We'll see. Convert to running back? It doesn't even make any sense. Why don't you keep the thoughts in your head? Maurice Hurst is back. And then here's the big one. Kadarius Toney doesn't really want to be here. We have the money to franchise tag him easily and just figure out what we want to do beyond that. I don't know. He's obviously very good. I think the big thing is that, people see, oh, he plays on a different team in real life to this point. You shouldn't have him. But he's been a pretty good player for us. He had a big 2022. He scored, 6 or more touchdowns every season with us. Just had 910 yards. I mean, the thing is, you look at it, he's averaging, 50 yards a game easily for his career with us. He's just a really nice option to have. I don't know if he's someone that we trade. He's only 26 years old. I would be very comfortable offering him a 2 or 3 year deal. And then just if we were to trade him at some point, it would be something that we could just eat the cap penalty, because Odell's probably going to end up being gone. He's 32 years old. He's already down to an 85 overall. You expect Larry Smith to kind of jump him at some point, maybe next season or after next season. So if Larry Smith at like an 84 overall is our highest rated receiver, I think we're going to be in trouble. So I'd like to extend Kadarius Toney here. 3-year deal. He wants to play for a new team next year. Well, Kadarius, I've got some incredibly bad news for you. That's not going to happen. You're getting franchise tagged. It is a remarkable $27.3 million per year. The reason I'm comfortable doing that is we have the money easily. So it gives us a year or a half year to figure out what we want to do, to either extend him or potentially trade him. It's fine. Everyone's on about the money. Oh my God, it's $27 million. We have the money. It impacts us for 1 year. It's not especially relevant at this point. It's not relevant. It gives us time to figure out what we want to do. So very comfortable doing it. I don't care even a little bit. We have more than enough money right now to be able to afford that. And we'll see if we want to tag and trade. We'll see if we want to extend something like that. And I think that's all we're going to do in the re-signing period. Deontay Foreman is a tough one because, first of all, hook him, He had one attempt in 2024, took it for 41 yards and a touchdown. One attempt in 2023, 3 yards. He's had 2 carries in 2 years with us. We have Zach Beck. I think we'd probably just draft a running back rather than re-signing him. So I think that's all we're going to do. The mock draft. Here's what we're looking at. Left tackle, Steve Wagner, expected to go number 1 overall. Maybe some shades of Joe Thomas here for the Browns, even though Joe Thomas was number 7 overall. No. Number 6. I think Adrian Peterson went number 7 overall. He seems like he can move really, really well with decent strength. But yep, Browns taking a tackle high. Could be their next Joe Thomas. And then Dave Jordan could be the best player in the entire class. He is 23 years old, receiver out of Wisconsin. B, catching traffic. A, catching. B, deep route running. B, release. Physically, he's pretty good. Not exactly the best in the world, but his skills are very good. B, catching traffic. A, catching. A, medium route running. B, release. A, short route running. A, spectacular catch. B, deep route running. But probably not someone we'll be able to move up for. And if you were curious as to why, let me show you the mock draft. If you were wondering where the Giants pick, if you forgot, we do not have a first-round pick. In effort to get better for that past season, we traded up. We acquired Caleb Claiborne. We got in a position to get John Bost. We got Glenn Gore. We don't have a first-round pick as a result. And I think it's worth it. Caleb Claiborne ended up having superstar development. Glenn Gore ended up having superstar development. And we won a Super Bowl as a result. We won the Super Bowl just this past season. So, all those players were out there making plays. I think it was more than worth it because that pick that we had is number 32 overall right now. So congrats to the Cardinals, projected to take Chad Bond. That feels like an SNL sketch where James Bond is just like some douche. Anyway, yeah, I'm comfortable with where we were with that. And we can still potentially move up somewhere. We have 1 second-round pick. We have 2 thirds, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, and a 7th. And we have picks to work with potentially next year. I'm not really in a super crazy trade mood. You guys know I like to run this franchise a little bit more realistically than you might want. But that doesn't mean we're not going to do fun things just for the sake of keeping, absolute boring realism. We see how crazy the NFL in real life is. So I'm comfortable with kind of where we have been. For Kayvon Thibodeau, he needs to continue to improve as a pass rusher for me. He just disappeared at times last year. And for a superstar X Factor player, he's got to be better. +1 to agility, awareness, power moves, pursuit, and strength. So up to 90 base power moves. Not really in a bad spot. Nick Duval. We know about Nick Duval. Nick Duval is a beast. We got the all black for the playoffs. And what do we want here? I think I was looking at abilities. We gave him slot apprentice and short in elite. Short in elite is quite good. Some of these other things unlock at 85 overall possession. So that's kind of where I want to get to right now. So that's exactly what we're going to upgrade. He's playing up to a 90, although that's going to go back down here shortly. +1 acceleration, +1 awareness, pass block finesse, pass block power, run block finesse, and run block power. But also +2 to short route running, making him a little bit more well-balanced. Eventually, I'd like to see deep route running cross that 70 threshold, but it's just not where we are right now. And then speed rusher for Azeez Ojulari, I think, makes the most sense. Just to continue to develop him as a pass rusher. That's what we're focused on right now. If he can get to that 90 finesse moves threshold, I think he's going to play a lot better. Evan Neal, let's go ahead and do agile. Gets his scheme fit as his primary. And then +1 speed is interesting, but +1 impact block, pass block finesse, and run block finesse. Getting a little bit better. He looks really well balanced. He hasn't really been a problem for us in this franchise at all. And then Derek Cooper. We continue to develop him. He's a fun hybrid player. His coverage isn't great, but his athleticism is insane. I think we need to continue to develop him as a pass rusher. We might have a special player on our hands. Give me like +3 finesse moves. +2 is pretty good. +2 is not bad to a 79. If we can get that 80+, and we're going to be able to do that at some point this next season, I think we're going to see a big jump with him. Not bad. Not bad. And I think we're ready to advance to free agency. The main positions we're looking to improve upon, potentially wide receiver, especially interior offensive line, I would say is my biggest need, and then CB1, depending on what actually hits free agency. I don't really want to spend a ton of money. We have $70.7 million available, but if you check out our contract situations for next year, Kayvon Thibodeau will be a free agent. Kadarius Toney, obviously, we just franchise tagged. He'll be a free agent. Odell Beckham Jr. will be a free agent. Not sure that's one we're going to bring back at that point after regression. Evan Neal will need a new contract. Leonard Williams, but not sure he's going to be staying around. So maybe an interior defensive lineman is something we could target in the draft. Wandale, potential free agent. Joseph Noteboom, we just extended shortly. So we'll see what's in free agency. If there's a big CB or wide receiver 1, it could change things, but it is not what we expected or wanted. Aaron Jones is the highest rated player that hit free agency. He wants to be a Giant. I got some bad news for him. I don't think it's happening. Michael Thomas, Lyle Collins, Javonte Williams, Calvin Ridley, Micah Hyde. It is not a great group. However, James Daniels is not only a scheme fit, he also is 27 years old at a position of need. So while it's not an amazing overall free agent class, there is a very, very good fit for us. Again, I think I'd probably just draft a third running back. Project Pat is in here. None of these receivers are particularly appealing to me at all. Tight end, you guys know we're fine. So across the offensive line, Landon Dickerson. Ooh. Is that better? He is extremely interested. Obviously a little bit younger. Let's see. Let's see the player card. And we'd be stealing him from the Eagles, which, of course, we'd like that. So, power-oriented, not really much of a pass blocker. It's a red flag. It's a red flag. What about James Daniels? Or AVT? Ooh. Now it's a decision. There are some really interesting interior offensive linemen. James Daniels is the most well-rounded. Pass block, very good. Run blocking, not terrible. Not terrible. James Daniels is at the top of the list right now. What about AVT, though? He's not especially expensive, only 26 years old, as we know. Elijah Vera Tucker, he's just not there. He's just not as good. He is stronger, but I think there's a clear gap. And there's only a 1 year age difference. I think James Daniels is the guy. Maybe a 4-year deal. He's just better. A lot of interest. I mean, we should be able to bring him in. I like that offer. At right tackle, we're fine, obviously. On the defensive line, this is where we're looking for value. What do we want? The former Giant B.J. Hill. Nobody's interested in him. Javon Hargrave could offer us some pass rush. I'm pretty much looking for 1-year deal here. This is like our Maurice Hurst replacement, probably. So Javon Hargrave may be in play. Block shedding's not great. Or Javon Hargrave. B.J. Hill, scheme fit, more of a run defender. A little bit younger. Let's see here. He might be worth an offer. Might offer on B.J. Hill. Nobody else wants him. 1-year deal, take the money down a little bit. We'll see how that plays. Right end. Linebacker, we are more than fine. And then corner. It's not a great group. It's not a great group. I don't know anyone that comes in here and it even competes. Maybe Paulson Adebo. You know, he's more of a zone-oriented corner. Let's see. They're giving him man-to-man archetype. That's just not the player he was at Stanford, at least. 80-man, 77 zone. Agility, speed, press high. I don't think we're going to sign a corner. We have Darnay. Did we let Trey Flowers walk? I think we did, right? Hold on. Let's evaluate. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we have Adoree Jackson, Darnay Holmes, Cordell Flott, but Akil Edmonds was he's had a very interesting cycle in here where he was linebacker, undersized, moved back to safety, and then plays slot corner for us. Caleb Farley is available. He is a scheme fit. He wants to be on a Super Bowl contender, and he's cheap. He's only 26 years old. If you guys don't know the Caleb Farley story, basically super, super athletic corner out of Virginia Tech, and has just dealt with some really rough injuries, back injuries, both at Virginia Tech and now into the NFL. I think some lower leg stuff as well. He's very fast, man-oriented, and has the size to play on the outside. And as you guys know, the biggest thing on defense that I keep harping on is we need a boundary corner with size that is different from what we currently have. Farley is an exceptional athlete. And, yeah, you got to worry about injury with him. Only 79 injury, too. But that's why we could potentially sign him and still draft a corner. I kind of like that. 2 teams are interested. I feel like we could probably rise to the top of that list, very, very quickly. And if we want him, we might even have to offer a little bit more. And I think we should be in the lead for him, and we are. Safety's fine. Kicker and punter is fine. So I think really we've targeted 5 players overall. Why is active negotiations 5 of 5? I only see 3 players in the top 100. Why can't I just see all? Bizarre. Anyway, let's see how it goes. 2 of the players are gone, and that's because we signed 2 of them. James Daniels and Caleb Farley are the newest New York Giants. Farley could earn playing time as a boundary corner, and James Daniels is a plug-and-play starter at right guard. Pretty good start for us, I think. La'el Collins is headed to the Chargers. Ridley to the Falcons. Really, Calvin Ridley to the Falcons. Nice. Shaq Griffin to the Panthers. Foye Oluokun to the Chicago Bears. Travis Etienne to the Broncos. They're losing Javonte Williams, probably. They replace him with Travis Etienne. Julian Love, Folo Fatukasi to the Falcons. Landon Dickerson goes to Miami. Is there anything we have to worry about within our own division? Paulson Adebo always felt like a Seahawk to me. Always felt like a Seahawk. Now he goes in-game. The Falcons are really going all out, man. AVT as well. The former Giant Tate Crowder re-signs with the Saints. I think we traded him there. Noah Igbenogany to the Raiders. Malik McDowell to the Cardinals. I don't see anything in our division. Is there anything I missed out on at the top here? No. Not a lot of good players signed up to this point, to be fair. But still really early. And then BJ Hill. Probably not going to be someone who signs with us. Why did it say 5 active negotiations? Who did I offer on? It was Daniels, it was Farley, and it was BJ Hill. I think that was only 3. Okay. Back to free agency. Is there anything we need here? Aaron Jones to Buffalo. Michael Thomas to the Broncos. Javonte Williams goes to the Panthers. Micah Hyde to the Rams. Still haven't seen anything in our division. This is insane. But while we get better, other teams get worse. Love to see it. I'm still waiting for the first team in our division. No Eagles. I haven't seen a Commanders or a Cowboys logo. I mean, they have just straight up not signed anybody. Is this Kenny Golladay? Still a free agent. I don't know who's going to sign him. There's nobody. They're not interested in getting better. Oh, hold on. Sam Cosmi. They re-signed Sam Cosmi. Nice. Hook 'em, of course. I passed by some Commanders. I'm blind. All right, Pro Day results. Let's see. Dave Jordan. How athletic is Dave Jordan? Ooh, pretty athletic. I thought he was going to be but he's even more than I expected. Good player. We're not going to be in position to get him. No chance. Absolutely no chance. Now, the players on my board, let me show you guys. Victor Farr is a corner. 5'11", 182 out of Florida. Only 21 years old. Very good athlete. Now, he is a little bit small. 5'11". I guess it's not that small. It's about average corner size. Ran 4.34. Elite speed at the position. And I love the fact that it says elite, because that's going to be mid to high 90s. Almost certainly. This is someone we could have to move up for. Good man coverage ability. Zone is not good. He's not a zone corner. On the other hand, Dylan Clifford from Wake is a little bit older, but is a little bit more well-rounded and is better in zone. He is also a very good athlete. Elite strength. It would tell you maybe he can press at the line. Great speed, great jumping, good change of direction. Very, very fast as well. Fastest pro day time. His press is a B. It's pretty good. And then Kendall Weathersby, also on the board. 5'11", 181, 23 years old, receiver out of Texas A&M. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. Elite speed, elite change of direction, elite agility, elite acceleration. He is a very, very good athlete. Skill-wise, not quite as good. B, catching traffic I like. C, catching's pretty good. B, release is good. A, deep route running is great. But this is someone that could be a potential, like, boom, run after catch, get upfield. So Kendall Weathersby is someone I'm also maybe considering making a move up for. Marco Felix, round 1 defensive tackle, probably will not be able to get him, but also a very good athlete. Seems to be quite a fast defensive tackle class. If at his pro day 4.87 was 4th fastest. And maybe the most interesting corner prospect is Lawrence Rose from LSU. 6'4", 190, string bean out there by NFL standards. B catching, B to D man coverage, B press, C zone coverage. Here's the thing though. C zone coverage, man-to-man archetype, tells me that B to D man coverage is more likely at least B to C, if not B. Physically, he's not the fastest in the world, but has great acceleration, and he's also 6'4". Great agility, which is not something you're going to see from someone that's that tall. So Lawrence Rose is someone that's appealing as well. Some other decent interior defensive linemen down the board. The 21-year-old Orlando Yarbrough is undersized from Clemson, 6'2", 288. It's like Aaron Donald's size. Aaron Donald a little bit shorter, about that weight though. Here's the thing though about Orlando Yarbrough. He's got B block shedding, A finesse moves. He can defend both the run and the pass. Ran 4.66 at his pro day? Okay. Elite acceleration, elite speed. Great change of direction. His strength is solid. I don't think I've ever seen someone this fast. Do we find the Aaron Donald archetype? We may have. We may have. Now, his power moves is horrific, and he's not a great tackler. But Orlando Yarbrough is someone that I'm looking at the least. And then I marked this potential UDFA on my board just because he looked well-rounded. B block shed, C finesse moves, C power moves, B tackling. Physically, not really a great athlete, but I think does everything else well that you'd like from a football player. So there are things to like in here. There are things to like. Those are some of the guys I'm most interested in this draft. And I think we're about there, to be honest. I think we're about there. We don't really need to do a whole lot more in free agency. I think we came in and we improved our team again. James Daniels, instant starter. We could use a backup quarterback. Maybe something we'll look to draft. Could use another running back. Could potentially take a receiver. Farley, good addition to our secondary. We're a little bit thin on the defensive line. Linebackers, great. Safety's great. We could maybe draft one safety down the board. And we could use a corner. I don't know if we're going to make a defensive change yet. We're going to go into the draft under best player available mindset. And then Kayvon Thibodeau is interesting. I don't usually love to hand out the 5th year, but you have to decide a year in advance. It's just, is he going to be really expensive down the line? I don't know. He's already superstar X Factor. I'm going to say we're not going to pick up the 5th year contract because we have money now. And I want to just extend him. I don't want to worry about, having him get super expensive. Evan Neal, I'm in kind of the same boat. He's a great player. I'd rather just flat out extend him. Let's get a draft strategy, maybe. Could use running back, receiver. I like the line. I like tight end. Corner, defensive line. Yeah, we're good. Maybe a backup quarterback. I mean, they literally never play, but the mentor tag to get better development, that I could see being worthwhile. Who has the mentor tag? Can we see it? Oh, yes, on the left. Taylor Heineke cannot possibly have the mentor tag. Mentor, he doesn't have 10 years of experience. Unless they're counting him as a rookie and not counting his out of NFL action, which that's exactly what's happening. Okay. So they're counting his rookie year. Despite not playing close to 10 years in the NFL, he is a mentor. Jimmy G. Who's this? Chris Widmer from North Texas. I know he's not a mentor, but he's 22 years old. Okay, so private workouts is going to be really, really big for us here. Really, really big. Because there are some players that I just want to find out their true draft talent and really get a better idea of it. And I think that's going to be, I don't know. I mean, the thing is about all of these players is we know their main skills with the exception of Lawrence Rose. So maybe we'll make him a favorite. Orlando Yarbrough, like, we know about him. We know he's good. I don't know what we're going to find out in advanced scouting. Really don't know. There's not like one burning question. So I think I would use it on the rest of the guys to get up to 100%. Kendall Weathersby. And then one of Victor Farr or Dylan Clifford. Clifford we have to trade up a ton for. He's well-rounded. Is he the elite? I think Victor Farr is the elite athlete, right? Yeah, let's make those three our focus players. And we'll see what we can do. Free agency recap. I mean, you guys saw free agency a little bit already. We went through it. I don't think there are any more notable signees that you're going to see. Project Pat to the Jets. Other than that, nothing super notable. Apparently, I did pass some Commanders earlier. So let's see who they signed. Oop. Alex Leatherwood. Ugh. And Chris Barnes. Chris Barnes is one that he could be kind of annoying to play. Has decent speed, decent coverage. He's all right. He's okay. Kenny G to the Saints. I thought Kenny G was a musician. Let's go ahead and advance the week. NFL draft time. 2025 NFL draft. How crazy are things going to get? I don't know. Not sure. We're going to find out because we're jumping right in. Cleveland Browns have the number 1 overall pick. We do not pick until the last pick of the second round. There are some players I definitely want to be in position to get. Okay. This changes things. Victor Farr is a top 5 talent. Interesting. Was not expecting that. Someone we are going to consider. Kendall Weathersby is a round 1 talent, so better than his initial projection. Very, very interesting player. Dave Jordan, we don't really know 100%. Lawrence Rose is up to 90% now. We know he's good. I wish I could know all the way, but he's definitely good. Still, nothing has changed in that regard. And then Orlando Yarbrough, I'd love to take him with our pick in the second round. Would love to. I really would not want to miss out on him just because he's the fastest defensive tackle I've ever seen in the draft. 4.66 at his pro day is absurd. I'm going to outline it for you guys. If we can come out of the draft with Victor Farr, Kendall Weathersby, and Orlando Yarbrough, I'm going to be pretty happy about it. Those are the three. Mock drafts don't go deep into the second round, so wouldn't have been super relevant. I think in order to be in position to get any of those guys, we would obviously have to trade up. We'd have to trade up. These third-round picks, not especially valuable to me. If I could trade a 3, a 4, and a 5 to move up in the second round, I would gladly do that. Let's see if the Browns are willing to play ball. They are not. What can we do? Who is potentially expendable on this team? Safety. I'm not trading Akil Edmonds. Corner. None of these players are especially tradable. Middle linebacker. Not trading any of them. Not trading any of them. So Leonard Williams becomes a trade target. Or trade piece, potentially. And on the offensive line, we're fine. And then maybe a receiver. But I'm not trading Kadarius Toney to get in the second round. That's not happening. Yeah, in real life, I get it. In the game, he's a superstar development receiver that's the highest overall in our team at that position, and he's only 26. So I'm not doing that. But Leonard Williams, I could potentially trade. Let's see who's interested. The Buccaneers are interested. Cardinals are interested, and they own our first-round pick. So we could potentially even get that back. Let's see where that puts us. That puts us in a decent spot. Leonard Williams plus a third. Where does that put us? Not quite there. I will trade you a 3 and a 5 to move up in the third round. And you know what? I'll give you a 6th as well. That trade is accepted. So we're moving up from 96 to 81, giving up 160 and 192 in the process. And then I will go back to the Cardinals, and I will offer the Cardinals pretty much exactly what I was offering earlier, except I have to back out quickly. Yeah, I remember the UDFA. I don't know that we'll need him, but that's why I'm saving the 7th. So back to the Cardinals. We could also change Leonard Williams to a left end. That could increase their interest. I don't think it would do anything dramatic. That's Jeffrey Simmons. I don't want to trade Jeffrey Simmons. Leonard Williams, though, is someone I might be interested in trading. So number, was it 2 3s to make this work? Yes, 2 3s. Leonard Williams, number 84 and 81, to reacquire our own first-round pick at 32 and also 53. So the reason I wanted to do that, if we'll go back over our picks before this thing starts, and we could start it. The only reason I'm not letting it is because, I had the highlights and stuff like that. But the picks that this gives us, 32, 53, 64. Could potentially move up from 64, but this is to where you start to see the vision on CB, wide receiver, potentially defensive tackle. I'm worried that number 32 will put us out of position for 2 players I want anyway. But we're going to see how it goes. Because when you check out the draft board, we don't have anyone for a while that we're really, truly interested in. Dylan Clifford's cool. However, down here at the bottom of the board, Kendall Weathersby could sneak into the first round. Lawrence Rose, I wouldn't be worried about. But Victor Farr, again, these guys could sneak in. And these are the 2 players at the top that I want the most, probably. So we'll see. We'll see. Cleveland Browns at number 1 overall. Draft officially underway. They do, in fact, go Steve Wagner, left tackle out of Ohio State. We looked at him earlier. Looks like a pretty good athlete, pretty fluid mover at left tackle. Not someone that's going to overwhelm you with strength, but you don't necessarily need that at that position. However, at number 2, we are expecting the Packers to do the unthinkable. And that is to take a receiver in the first round. And not only in the first round, but at number 2 overall. Is it Dave Jordan? It is Dave Jordan. Wisconsin's Dave Jordan, the number 1 overall pick, is headed to Green Bay. And of course, it's after Aaron Rodgers is already gone. Dave Jordan, the Wisconsin product, stays in Wisconsin, headed up north to Green Bay. This is someone with some electric ability. We know what Dave Jordan is capable of. He's someone that can take a screen 90 yards to the house Doesn't have top-end speed, as you'll see, but he accelerates with the best of them, has exceptional play strength. And yes, Aaron Rodgers doesn't get his guy, but the Packers do finally take a receiver. It just happens to be after the Aaron Rodgers era is over. LA Rams. Such a fall from grace. On the board at number 3, they'll go with a new quarterback, Chad Whitney from Miami of Ohio. Wasn't exactly overwhelmed with the quarterback class, but the Rams clearly thought differently as they take their QB of the future, Matthew Stafford. First of all, what a ridiculous amount of quarterbacks have on the roster. What the fuck? Dude, what is this, dude? They've got Matthew Stafford, Jacoby Brissett, Jared Farrell, Chet O'Neal, Doug Myers, John Wolford, Seth Meyers from SNL. Why do you need this many quarterbacks? And they've drafted another one. It is the offseason, so the rosters do get expanded. But the fact that they have more quarterbacks than receivers on the roster is a little ridiculous. Commanders, our division rival, takes a quarterback at number 4. And that's someone we'll be seeing. Matthew McClure from Youngstown State. McClure would potentially be in play to be the highest overall quarterback on this team, although I doubt it. They still have Wentz Howell, but that's right. They brought in Tua Tagovailoa, only a 77 overall star dev, 27 years old. Has some decent overall accuracy. His towel just flipped out. Maybe Tua not the future. That towel spazzing. At number 5, the Houston Texans. After an electric start, take an edge rusher. Maybe their next J.J. Watt. All right, that's obviously, that it would take a lot for him to get there. But the Iowa State product is not a bad player. And in the best case scenario, you develop him. He's a speed rush archetype player, a finesse moves type guy, can really get after the quarterback. And as you can see, he made Jaron Hall pay on that one. Jeremiah Thomas, potentially someone to look at off the edge in the future. Good player. Ravens at number 6. Go with Melo O'Reilly, one of the best names in this class from LSU. Another defensive end. Pretty well-rounded, not amazing in any one area, I would say. New York Jets go with another pass rusher. We have seen 3 in a row now. James Claxton from Louisville. Now, we've seen the Jets get Louisville pass rushers before. Lorenzo Malden, former Jet. Am I right about that? I think Lorenzo Malden was a Jet. If you don't remember Lorenzo Malden, that makes sense. Seahawks at number 8. Go with a right tackle. Didn't like what they saw from Abraham Lucas. And they're bringing in Louis Blankenship to potentially be a starter. 49ers at number 9. Go with a pass rusher out of Mississippi State. It's Gregory Shorts. And let me tell you, he is actually kind of short for a pass rusher. 6'2", 250 pounds. He's not especially small, but, a lot of the top-end pass rushers you see go very high in the draft. It's your Khalil Mack, who's even not especially tall at 6'3". Myles Garrett, 6'4", 6'5". J.J. Watt, same type of dude, 6'5", in that range. Gregory Shorts could potentially be productive anyway. Saints at number 10 go with Randy Dawson from Oregon State. They'll take the second receiver off the board. He might not be Dave Jordan, but he could be a difference maker for them as we see the first corner go off the board. It's Notre Dame's Carlos Grenard. Any relation to Jonathan of the Texans? Who knows? Minnesota Vikings at 12 go with another corner. They've needed an upgrade at that position for a long time, and this one is a good one. Dylan Clifford has some good play strength to him. You can see on this next rep, big press win at the line. Of course, this is against Wisconsin, but not matched up against Dave Jordan. Important to keep in mind. Dylan Clifford to Minnesota. Lions on the board at 13 go with Jamal Sellers. Hopefully he doesn't sell them, as the next pick comes in immediately. It's the Jaguars taking Nelson McGee from UCF, keeping him in state. Dolphins at 15 go Johnny Hilliard from Mizzou. Eagles at 16 go Alex Ramirez, another Wisconsin player off the board here. Alex Ramirez, interior defensive lineman. Cardarius Shaw from Oregon. Shaw was an interesting player. He was not a good athlete, but was really technically sound everywhere else. I'm curious to see where these running backs go, because I do like the look of some of these. Bill Norman from Louisville seems to be pretty good. Not the most insane athlete. They give him solid speed, but I'll tell you, 4.43 for a running back at 202 pounds, not especially bad. Not especially bad at all. And there are some good running backs in this class. Victor Atkins is from Clemson is someone we'll take a look at. A ball carrier vision, elite jumping, elite change of direction, good speed. Not too bad. Not too bad. We'll see when the running backs go. That's always kind of something we look after. It's not an especially valuable position. We'll see what happens next. Chargers at 18 go DeAndre Noel from Clemson. Clemson, as always, has a really good defensive line, and DeAndre Noel was one of many that we see in this draft class. The other two, one of them we're looking at. Marco Felix seems to be very, very good. C block shedding, B finesse moves, A power moves. It's night and day from the other Clemson defensive lineman that we're actually targeting. 6'5", 307, very good athlete. Really, really interesting. A play rec, A power moves. Marco Felix looks to be a beast. And then you have Orlando Yarbrough, 6'2", 288. They couldn't be more different in terms of size. But we'll see who ends up being the better player of the two. Bears at 19. They just saw a big weapon coming to the division in Dave Jordan. They take Eddie McDowell, right tackle from Florida, still looking to upgrade that offensive line. Montrell Goss, outside linebacker from Penn State, headed to the Raiders. Cardinals go with Marco Felix. We were wondering when we were going to see him. We talked about his teammate just a minute ago, off the edge, another teammate at defensive tackle. But Marco Felix has some really good size. Arizona came into this draft with multiple first-round picks. We, of course, traded for one back. Marco Felix could be a difference maker on that defensive line as another real candidate for name of the draft. Flies off the board. It's Don Prince from Kansas State, headed to Tampa Bay. Maybe the next great receiver for them. We've seen Mike Evans have a great career. We've seen Chris Godwin play really well. Julio Jones ends up on the Buccaneers kind of in the twilight of his career. Antonio Brown, same deal. Don Prince maybe can be something for Tampa Bay. Steelers go Josh Coleman, the second Wisconsin receiver off the board. We know what we saw off the board from Dave Jordan. Great player. Can Josh Coleman be worthy of that first-round pick? We're going to find out in the future. As Matt Page, Minnesota defensive end, headed to the Cincinnati Bengals. 25, Montrell Adams, tackle from Cal, goes off the board. And, he was someone that, I took a look at, wasn't exactly overwhelmed with the entire tackle class as a whole. And the Cowboys are someone that we obviously are going to see twice a year. And you wonder if he's going to be someone that we can take advantage of early. Look at left tackle. Tyron Smith, when healthy, is obviously a beast. Getting a little bit older. Now 34 years old. Matt Willetsko behind him. Not exactly a great starter. But then they don't really have anyone at right tackle here. Carl Westbrook and Yadni Kajust. Not a great group. So a new potential starting right tackle they thought was in the mix. And here we are. Coming up to our pick. Mac Weathers. Looking like Carl Weathers. Out of LSU there. Outside linebacker to Buffalo. This is where I'm starting to potentially consider a trade up from 32. I just don't want to see one of these guys go right ahead of us. Kendall Weathersby, Victor Farr. It'd be devastating to lose out on both. Here's the reality. There's a good chance that we miss out on one of these guys, either Weathersby or Farr. And I think we're in the same exact position with those position groups. We're pretty good at receiver. We could use somebody else. We're pretty good at corner. We could use somebody else. So it's what do we prioritize? The fourth corner or another receiver that might not even play a lot this year but could end up getting some playing time down the line. Patriots take a corner. It's the 6'4" Lawrence Rose from LSU. That is a big corner to go off the board. Not just in size, but obviously. But that's big because he was down the board a little bit. And the Patriots, of course, like their guy. He's a big corner. It's what they do. They took Jowan Johnson in the first round. And I think that's enough to scare me into making a move. Because how easily could that have been Victor Farr from Florida? DBU for a time. You know, they produced guys like Joe Hayden. They had some great corners in there that didn't end up panning out. Vernon Hargraves, most notably recently. Tease Tabor was great at Florida. I think we're going to go ahead and try to make a move up. Let's see what the Falcons want to do. We don't have to move up a lot. Just trying to jump a team here. Jump a team or two. The Falcons really aren't in contention to take that pick. Let's just give them a 4. They don't want to do it. That makes sense. But a 4 and a future 5, I think this goes through. Just a little bit of an extra push. We're only moving up a few spots. So we give them a couple mid to late round picks. And we move up to the number 28 spot. And it is where, of course, we're going to take what appears to be a top 5 talent in the draft. Now, when you look at Victor Farr here from Florida, 5'11", 182, 21 years old, out of Florida, like, he looked good. B-man coverage is good. B-press is good. D-zone coverage is not good. C-catching, whatever. He's an aggressive ball hawk for better or worse. Motor that runs through the whistle, often looks to rip the ball from runners, but shows good discipline and won't get flagged much. That's nice at corner. However, what separates him is his athleticism. Elite speed, elite change of direction, and great acceleration. This is someone that does not have to start right away, but that we can develop. You're not going to see a better athlete down the board that you can turn into a stud. This is the time, and we'll see what Victor Farr has in store. Obviously hoping for better than normal development, clearly, but at the same time, you know, I hate to say it, we are drafting him for his speed. We are drafting for the athletic profile, and, you know, I'm willing to take that chance. Does have normal development. Thought it was a possibility, but his athleticism is off the charts. 95 speed, 89 jumping, 95 change of direction, 86 agility, and 92 acceleration. Not bad at all. Here is Victor Farr from Florida getting it done. Everyone loves to go L pick at the time, and they only end up looking stupid in the future. Eld to Dontrell Cobb. Superstar dev, defensive player of the year type player. Cody Bailey, L. Led us to a Super Bowl. Cry, weep. It is what it is. Victor Farr, top 5 talent in the draft. We're always going to be happy about that, especially at 21 years old. Now, the unfortunate thing is we don't pick again till number 21. And I am worried about Kendall Weathersby going off the board. And it really could be any minute that happens. Projected to go in 9 spots. We know he's a round 1 talent, and we know he can really, really run. Great after the catch, change of direction, agility, all phenomenal. Are we going to be able to get in position for Kendall Weathersby? Yeah, I don't think trading Odell is something that I'm interested in because that, I think, limits what we can do in the short term, and we're obviously trying to go back-to-back. Odell is still a very good player for us. Kendall Weathersby is not going to be comparable in year 1, So I'm not really, this is not a rebuild at this point. We are good right now. I want to keep Odell while he's good and potentially, figure out his replacement down the line. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, a 2 this year and a 2 next year. I did not think that was going to go through. Awards us the number 31 overall pick. And we've moved up. Okay. Could take a running back. No, we're not going to. We're going to take a shot here on Kendall Weathersby. 5'11", 181. Now, he is already 23 years old. I don't love that. Because, yes, it's easy to say, oh, normal development versus hidden development. But 21 years old versus 23 years old. The younger players get a lower threshold to move up with development. So he is a little bit older, but can catch the ball, is obviously a phenomenal athlete. B kick return. We kind of have a decent returner, but maybe Weathersby could potentially make a play, stake a claim to be that guy. We are going to draft him. Does have hidden development. 96 speed, 87 jumping, 96 change of direction with 94 agility and 97 acceleration. He is obviously a phenomenal athlete. We know that. And that is a phenomenal catch. Take another look. Bad throw. Classic Texas A&M trash quarterback. We've seen that a million times. Johnson does not put it on the money. Weathersby adjusts and makes an incredible catch. And not only that, he can really run down the field. And when the quarterback underthrows it, we know about the deep ball accuracy of Cody Bailey at times. Kendall Weathersby might be able to bail him out. Only 5'11". He's going to have to beat you by running down the field, but that's something he's able to do with top-of-the-line speed. And we are pretty much building a track team with Larry Smith and now Kendall Weathersby, who does end up going in the first round. There's Brandon Patrick from Clemson, and we are now into the second round. Manny Cochran from Auburn. J.P. Boyd from Oklahoma to the Packers. The Rams take Zaire Spruce from Washington. Aaron Greer, another Clemson player, going at the top of this draft to the Commanders. And there is the first running back off the board. It is Bill Norman. That's like a 1950s Heisman winner name. But Norman can really run. And the Texans are looking to revamp their team. Whew. Bill Norman might be the fit. Yes. You could probably look in, 1951 Kansas State football and find Bill Norman. But this guy can play a little bit. He plays today. And this is on number 4 Clemson. We keep seeing Clemson players fly off the board. Well, Bill Norman put on a clinic against them. Well over 100 yards. Pretty good game against one of the best defenses we've seen in college football. And there goes the fan favorite Chad Bond to the Ravens. Who would have thought that a one-off one-liner would make him a fan favorite? And there's another running back. It was one in that very same game. Victor Atkins went off. But he is a bell cow running back. He's going to give you, 20 carries a game. He's maybe not going to break one, but he's going to consistently grind it out and make an impact for an offense. 6 yards here, 7 yards there, 5 yards, 9 yards, 12 yards. He's not someone that's going to be, Heisman winner, but in the second round, he could give you some value. Seahawks go with Vernon Pryor, safety out of Boise State. That feels like it's on brand. Pretty good Boise State safety in real life. J.L. Skinner, potentially someone to watch in the 2023 draft. Walt Russell from A&M. A guard goes to the 49ers. Saints go with Lionel Moses, another Florida defensive player going at the top of this draft. Broncos go Jabari Knott, center from Boise State. It feels on brand. Boise State Broncos. Minnesota Vikings go with Eric Porter, take a left tackle from Penn State. Always looking to upgrade that offensive line. And then it just did it again with the Jaguars because, because of Gil Dangus being the coach of the Jags on autopilot. I see. Evan Pearman, center, goes to the Jags out of Stanford. And we'll do a quick update on where we stand, because our pick is coming up. Max Williams, a tight end, but Max Williams spells it with 2 X's, if you guys know, the former Minnesota player. Orlando Yarbrough, coming up. And I don't feel comfortable waiting. I don't think I'm going to wait 6 picks and watch him go ahead of me. Just not going to do that. It's the Dolphins, right? I'll throw him a 4th round pick, as well as number 53 to move up to 47. They, of course, will accept that. Pretty good value. And now we're going to be taking one of the more interesting prospects I've probably ever seen in the draft. And I will say, this is someone I did not scout. I did not look at leading up to the draft. I don't have any highlights of him. I was not expecting to take him. But there is a lot to like here. B, block shedding. A, finesse moves. Power moves, tackling is bad. Physical player who delivers bone-crushing hits. That's the big hitter trait. Loves to utilize a spin as a counter move. Spin, obviously. Swift arm over. That's a swim move. Power and leverage to both through pass protectors. Bull rush trait. High motor. Strip ball trait. Good discipline. He's only 21 years old. 6'2", 288. Here's the thing. He's a good athlete. He ran 4.66 at his pro day. Granted, he is lighter. He's 288. But 4.66 at his pro day. Elite acceleration, elite speed. Strength is solid. Change of direction, great. He is going to be a rotational defensive tackle for us with great speed. It is way easier to find the run stoppers that can stop the run. And that's his archetype, by the way, which is bizarre. Welcome to the Giants. Orlando Yarbrough, 86 strength, 80 speed, 86 acceleration, 77 jumping. All very, very good for a defensive tackle right out of the draft. And if his finesse moves is mid to high 70s, we're going to be in a big spot. Especially considering B, block shedding is probably mid to high 70s as well. Of course, we're going to have to see overall at the end of this thing, as Pat Bowlen goes to the Eagles. But I think the signs for this draft class appear encouraging up to this point. There goes Max Williams. And here we are. Last pick of the draft. Mr. Irrelevant is joining our team. No favorites left. So let's take a shot on somebody. Do we have anyone that's better than UDFA? I think we have the end scouted completely. All terrible. All right. Not good. Yeah, I can't even imagine why you guys are saying Brock Purdy. I can't imagine the smooth brain that goes into that. I honestly don't even get what would be the joke about that. I can't even... Yeah, he was Mr. Irrelevant. Yes, good recollection. Is anyone particularly fast? We're going to take him. Got 74 speed, 79 strength. Yeah, interesting. All right, draft recap. Moment of truth. Oh, okay. Victor Farr is a 77 overall. Not bad for rookie. The zone coverage is awful, as expected. But great speed. Man coverage at a 76, not bad. 77 overall is pretty good. His motivations. Team as franchise QB. Cody Bailey, I guess, has been upgraded to franchise quarterback. Head coach historic winning record. Or we don't have a winning record just yet. We're working on it. I think this season we will get it. And then historic championship. So he's down for the cause. And then Kendall Weathersby is interesting. Is 23 years old. But Has 96 speed. Oh, this is just Greg Sheldon. That's what this is. He's got great speed acceleration. Route running is bad, except deep. Catching traffic, spectacular catch. All, in about that same range. Agility and change of direction are phenomenal. Juke and spin move are pretty good. And his motivations. He wants to be close to home in Georgia. No. He doesn't like New Jersey. He's kind of upset about this. Although, I mean, you're a Georgia player. You went to Texas A&M. I don't know about all that. And then Orlando Yarbrough is real interesting. 6'2", 288. 73 block shedding. 76 finesse moves with 80 speed. 73 play rec and tackle. 86 acceleration. 80 hit power. Pursuit. Impact blocking. All pretty good. He wants to be close to home in Texas. No. He went to Clemson. But otherwise, he likes it. What's his health here? Stamina, only 71. Guess that makes sense. And then this guy, Niles Richard. I mean, he's a team player. You'd hope so at fullback. I don't know if he's going to make the team. I'm going to be honest. Let's check out the rest of the draft. Let's see who was the best player. And we can see that the highest rated player was Dave Jordan as predicted. Although Trent Daniels was also 78 from Rice running back. But Dave Jordan was a 78 overall with hidden development. Very well-rounded. Catching is getting a bit of a boost. But 92 speed, 94 acceleration, 90 spectacular catch, agility, change of direction, all very good. Dave Jordan, I think, is going to be a really good player. Looks like a super solid draft pick. And his dev trait is Superstar X Factor. Quite good for a 78. Obviously, we're never going to be able to position to draft him. Jeremiah Thomas is 77. Does have normal dev. I think we're going to have a lot of normal dev in this class. Chad Whitney has hidden, though. Matthew McClure is a 75. Does have normal dev, though. And a good arm. Athleticism is only okay. Does have the QB of the future tag. I think Matthew McClure might earn the starting job over Tua Tagovailoa here for the Commanders. That is interesting. Going through the rest of the draft, Randy Dawson, 75. Carlos Grenard, 75. Dylan Clifford, only a 72, but does have hidden dev. So what would you prefer? Would you prefer the 21-year-old corner with normal dev who's a 77 to the 23-year-old who's a 72 overall with hidden dev? Is that a better pick? Now, I am interested in the 6'4" corner that went off the board, obviously, way before we were expecting. Cardarius Shaw is an interesting one, too. I talked about him. He's the guy who's not a good athlete, but was very technically sound. And athleticism actually doesn't really even look too bad. It's just 84 speed, kind of in like the modern day and age. A little bit slow, but he's also 250. This dude is massive. Only star dev. But not too bad. Don Prince was a 77. Ooh. Also looks pretty well balanced. Not quite on the same level as Dave Jordan, who's only +1 overall to him. I kind of don't even understand that. I don't get the overalls at some point. Like, how is he even close to Dave Jordan when Jordan looks significantly better? What else is in here? Lawrence Rose is a 75. So we got a 77. Rose was a 75. Probably hidden dev, but -2 overall. 90 speed. Same age. Same age makes it a little bit more interesting, right? His dev trait is star. Yeah, I don't feel like we made the wrong decision. And obviously we couldn't have drafted him anyway. Weathersby in a good spot. Who's like the best pick down the board? Chad Bond is a 75. So there you guys go. Victor Atkins is 76. Manny Perret, man, this was a decent receiver class, especially down the board. Jamie Sherman, a 75 overall safety at the end of the second. Very nice. Let's see if there was like a true steal in this class, though. I mean, yeah, these picks in the second are really good. Some really good players in the fourth here. Colt Elfman. Probably Elfman, but I want to call him the Elfman. Wes Welker. Yeah, he's not fast, but he can accelerate. Short route running is elite. Catching's already really good. This 94 change of direction. This is 87 spin move, 84 juke move. This is Wes Welker. This is Wes Welker. Star Dev. I thought it was going to be higher, to be honest. Thought it was going to be higher. If you guys care so much. Hidden Dev. 75 pass protector. 68 other stuff. Star Dev. There you go. He would have been an awesome backup. You guys are right. So a bunch of good players in the fourth round. I mean, it was the top end talent in this class was not incredible, but there were just some really good players overall. Now, Brian Evans is interesting. 5'11", 231, 92 speed, 89 acceleration, 86 trucking, 90 carrying. His personality is a leader. Why is Brian Evans like the number one player I want in the draft all of a sudden? Yeah, he's a big dude. Star Dev. All right. I would say that was a pretty, like, good draft, all things considered. You know, a couple of top 5 talents. Right? Because we are actually, Weathersby was a 76. Even so, you know, right there at the top of the draft, top 5 talent in Farr, top 10 talent in Weathersby, and then Yarbrough and just Yarbrough really offers us an interesting rotational player. And I think we'll go ahead and advance here. But that's going to do it for the offseason video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you're excited for 2025. And I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.